All right, you guys are free to go whenever you're ready.
You want to count it down, Jax?
Alrighty. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Alright. So, first part of this run, even though this is the raid, so we are going to be co-commentating together. And, first part, prologue, pretty simple. You just kind of run through. There's really only two ways to save time here. The first one is corner boosts. If you're on the top 3 pixels of a corner and you jump over it while you're grabbing, then you can essentially just do like a little momentum boost.
And note that this game is timed with in-game time, so time spent in the menus is not counted towards the final time of the run.
Yeah, so in between chapters there isn't a lot to do. It's really just IGT. The only things that affect in-game time are every time you dash. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. But every time you dash, I know it will affect Jax in some way. But every time you dash in a rhythm room, or a cassette room, or like a heart room in the B-sides, it saves, or it can save like 3 frames. Oh, did you already miss a berry?
I died while holding one. The second berry of the game, so it's not a massive time loss.
Yeah. A or B is, I mean, even stuff like that, it's a ruthless category. There is, like, any one mistake when you're holding a berry can cost you up to like 2 minutes of time loss, depending on where you are in a level. Because in the chapter select screen, you can't just go back to the very screen you want to. It'll put you back at the beginning of the section. The first thing you're going to see me doing here is it's actually faster to return to map after a certain point.
Yeah, it's faster IGT, it's slower RTA, but faster IGT.
Yeah. Just because it saves all the walking distance back to where we already activated a checkpoint chapter, so there's really no point walking in. You can just kind of quit out. Now I'm going to be getting the heart, and the way to get this heart is you have to enter a certain code by dashing, and if you do it and then retry right as you enter the code, you skip a little cutscene where the heart spawns in.
Oh, I have to go down. Let's see.
With that heart code, the idea is you want to enter it as you're moving across the level, because you can only spawn in the heart with the last dash after like a certain point across the left side of the screen. So you want to be inputting as much of the code as you can before you reach that point. Which is why you probably saw Jax do like a weird reverse wave dash on the little block.
Yeah, I messed it up once and had to enter the beginning of the code again, but...
I'm gonna do another quit out right here. It saves, I think, like 6 or 7 seconds in the in-game timer.
That much?
I think so, yeah. And then you're gonna see right here, one of the main struggles is dashless berries. And basically, or not dashless berries, but winged berries, and the main property that's different from them is...
I am done.
Did you die again?
I don't think there's any way to collect this berry. Anyway, yes, you were saying?
So, I was yeah, winged berries. The one property with winged berries is if you dash in this, like, if you dash while you're in the screen of the winged berry, it'll just go away, it'll fly away, it doesn't want you anymore. So you have to find weird workarounds. You can dash in the screen previous, whether that's like to the sides or up or down, and get wall bounce momentum or something else from it.
Alrighty, so I'm going back into crossing here because I died with another berry. This is not my best city.
Okay, and then right as we enter, or right as I enter the second chapter, I'm going to be grabbing the heart right up here.
That
For A or B, we need to enter the fourth chapter. I think Jax already said it, but we need to enter, or not the fourth chapter, we need to enter the 8th chapter. And in order to do that, we need 4 crystal hearts. So the fastest ones that you can get are actually chapter 1, 2, or no, chapter 1, 3, 4, and 6B. Which is, I believe, the route Jax is going to be taking.
Yep.
But I'm not very good at 6B, so I'm going to be getting the Chapter 2 heart and playing 6A normally. But 6B is definitely a really good showcase. It's as much hate as it gets. It's a really cool chapter. It has some really hard but really cool tech to it.
Jump. Okay, that was a mess of a chapter 1, but we'll see. Hopefully I can get off onto a better foot here.
One thing of ARB though is like a run of ARB can turn from like a really good to a really bad run, or a really bad run to a good run on a dime in a race. Just because like any one death with a berry that you have to go back for, but you can't because of a platform blocking the screen or anything like that, it can lose you. I think the biggest one you can lose is like 2 minutes if you lost a core berry at some point.
Really? Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Like, I think if you lose the last... Oh, I lost a berry, I'll say. But if you lose the last berry of core, it's like right before the checkpoint that you unlock, so it's right at the end of another checkpoint. So it takes a long time after losing that berry. And one common misconception with this category is that like you end the run when you get the final berry, because you know it's all red berries. That's your final goal, is to get all 175 and get that special pie cutscene with all of them. But just for simplicity's sake, they went ahead and made it so you have to complete core.
Yeah,
get
it's
the
a
heart.
more conclusive ending to the run, instead of just getting a berry and quitting off the map.
It's a little more satisfying, I feel like. But a lot of these berries are not easy to get, especially when you're trying to go through very fast, and if you're trying to move, you know, as fast through the game as possible, it's hard to actually find time to collect the berries. It takes, I think, 9 frames of standing on the ground to collect a berry. And while like that seems like nothing, that's 1/6 of a second almost, you like don't really realize how much that can affect your run.
Yeah, I think actually it rules for how many frames it takes change depending upon whether you were already like having a berry in the train. I think it gets longer if you already had one.
So that's another problem. There's a lot of really hard strats in this, and people just kind of throw themselves at like super tight gaps while holding these berries that if they die they can lose minutes and basically destroy their run. Which is kind of the, I guess, like one of the glories of ARB. It's, you know, if you want to whip out and go for like a simple strat, you can, but you're going to be losing that time. You're not going to save as much as you could by stopping and collecting the berry. So I'm out of ult sight, but I think I lost 2 berries in there, which is kind of...
You have to go back for those?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I lost 3 berries, wow. Okay, so you should be ahead now.
I'm just entering the last room of the chase.
So, okay.
So depending upon where you lost berries.
One at the very end, like the last berry before the battle chase, and 2 in the middle. So I'm basically just replaying half of the chapter, or like getting this. So it's not too bad. This
is a short chapter. The checkpoints are fairly close together, so
yeah.
they're definitely not the worst berries to lose in the game.
And any one death can really just change a race.
Alright, so now I'm going into Awake.
Have you lost any old state berries?
I have not.
Okay. So I have to collect, yeah, 2 more in the battle and chase. Basically, the main mechanic of the battle and chase is she just mimics your movements, but she trails behind by like 3 seconds. So you can never stand still for too long or repeat a path that you went through before.
Oh wait, I think my last one is set up with gold sounds. Yep. Audio is on you, right, Squeal?
I do not know. But if you guys have Jax's stream audio, you just get a funny sound.
I'm about to change that setting right now. Volume mixer 0. Okay, that shouldn't happen again. I'm into Awake, or Resort. Words.
Yeah, so I'm into Resort as well. What's your file time? Because
11:14.
Okay, I got in at 10:55. So not
pretty
actually,
close.
Yeah, pretty close. Especially considering, I mean, you lost 2 berries in
City, yeah.
And I lost 3 in sight. And there's a couple tricks that Jax will be doing to hopefully save time over me. One of the main ones is in core called ice skip. Basically, you're supposed to go through like a long chain.
We can maybe talk about that when we get there. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one, but it can save a minute and a half, maybe.
Yeah, particularly if you're bad at the rooms it skips. Which I happen to be. Just practice this chapter a bunch, we'll see how much it pays off. I guess we haven't really said much about movement tech. So what you see, a lot of what we're doing is we're dashing into the ground and then jumping. That's what's called a hyper dash. And it gives you quite a bit of forward momentum. And then another big one is wall bounces, where you dash up along a wall and then jump, and then that gives you a bunch of vertical momentum. So those two are pretty big components of the speed run, and they were put in by the developers, so they're intentional. It's intentional movement tech, because this game was developed with speedrunning in mind. Game is lagging a bit. Alright, so right now we're in Oshiro's hotel. We're just in the entrance right now. I'm about to get to a section where there's going to be a lot of clutter, and you have to clean that up by going through 3 sort of subsections. And the normal any percent route has you going down, up, and then right. But since we need a heart here, there's actually a strat where if you either save and quit or retry in the heart room, it'll give you a sort of death warp that saves, I think it's like 5 seconds in this category?
Yeah, it's around 5 or 6.
So basically, we'll be doing a slightly different route than what you see in any percent.
Yeah. So what the heart warp does is if you enter, there's like 2 entrances for the heart warp screen, and if you enter from the one that you're supposed to exit out of, the game doesn't really have a checkpoint as to where you're supposed to spawn when you die in there, because it's a screen where there's no real obstructions. You're not really supposed to be able to die in it. So the game gets confused, and it puts you at the closest respawn checkpoint for you, and that happens to be at a higher up checkpoint because it's really 2 screens merged into one. So you're in the heart room in the right section of Huge Mess, and then by retrying after entering from a different checkpoint, it'll put you in the north section. And that skips having to talk with Oshiro at one point and do some more movement in the Huge Mess room, like the main lobby room of it. I was about to go up to north just out of habit.
Doing these rooms with the green blocks here is a little unfamiliar, so... and then we actually have to play through it partly backwards, too, so...
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a weird section to play.
These green blocks can really, like, they seem so simple and they seem like they help, but with all the muscle memory you have from any percent, they can kind of...
They actually get in the way.
Spots,
Yeah. Alrighty, so I'm getting to that heart warp right now. So you go down and then back in. And I'll grab the heart and save it there. So now when I come back into the chapter, I will be up here.
So I just reached the heart warp as well, so I think by now you're a little bit ahead.
See, I wasn't planning on doing the demo dash route. I'm gonna grab the key.
Yeah, demo dash route is tough in orb, and it only saves like a second or 2.
And you have to go through that room with tricky cycles twice. Oh my god.
Did we mention Demo Dash?
No.
I mean, it's not really prevalent in this room.
Yeah. Not this chapter yet, at least. I know I'll do a couple throughout the run.
Yeah, there's some in Summit that you'll see that's.
There's one in Temple that I do as well.
Oh yeah.
I guess we can explain the tech. So Madeline's hitbox when crouching is 4 pixels tall, and there's a method that you can use to do a crouch dash while in midair, and it just so happens that many of the spikes in the game, like these round sort of spikes that you see, have a 4 pixels gap between them when they're all sort of lined up. And so oftentimes we can just dash between them. If we, it's usually pixel perfect. I think there might be a couple instances where it's not pixel perfect, but for the most part it is pixel perfect. So I'm headed into the Otrio Chase now, where we have angered him, and he's chasing us through these rooms.
Yeah, we
he
gave
aggroes.
him that hotel review.
He aggroes on your position, and comes charging across the screen. The actual lightning bolt that you see doesn't do anything; it just shows you where he's going to go. Berries. Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty good chapter 3 for me. I gained over 4 minutes on my PB.
Not much more you can ask for out of that.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Let me do that. Turn file timer on. I meant to do that, but forgot. I usually run with chapter timer on. It helps. I like to know my pace in individual chapters. Full run like this.
Live split right now. So into Golden Ridge, you probably already see it on Jackson. The mechanics of it are we have these clouds that we can jump on. They're fun and handy, and we can like gain pretty good momentum off of them if we do our dash cancels and hypers off of them. And then we also have the bubbles, which are kind of slow, but we can, like, if we press the dash button when we get in them, we can kind of launch out of the bubbles a little bit earlier. And then the one that everyone hates the most, we have Wind, which can sometimes help you, sometimes speed you up, take you the right direction, but most of the time you're going to be fighting against it.
Wind is one of those parts of the game that casually it's really annoying because most of the time you're just walking and dashing, and when you're doing that, the wind really does affect you a lot. But when you're at dash velocity or higher, it doesn't actually affect you. And so for speedrunners, it becomes less and less of a problem as you get faster.
So you want to be dashing and doing as many ultras as you can, which... did we talk about ultras?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So basically, after you do a extended, hyper or dash and cancel, or any like sort of movement type besides a wall bounce, where you get your dash back, if you then do a down diagonal dash, you can get insane amounts of speed, and that's because the devs never put a speed cap on down diagonal dashes. So you can, if you have like the right areas and the right timing, you can train them and get a lot of speed, and it blows you right through the wind in these stages.
It's a little precise trick I did, but there's a setup for it. So there was an ultra right there. You'll see another one when I come back into the screen. I'll give this... so, the Chapter 4 heart that is here, you're meant to stand on that white block, and it's sort of an homage to, I think it's Super Mario 3? What was it?
Yep. Yeah, SMB3 to get the first warp whistle. I'm gonna be standing on that block because I'm not good at the heart trick.
And I may have to resort to that if I cannot get the strat, but you can actually skip doing that, and optimally it saves like 3 or 4 seconds, but if you miss it a couple times, that time save goes away. Almost got it.
You can really only give a couple shots at it before it kind of becomes...
There we go. Third try, that's not bad actually.
It does look very nice though. We're all about the swag strats. That's all you really need. You don't need to be fast. You don't need to have world records. You just need to look cool while you're doing your race. So I'm approaching the heart in a minute, and you're gonna see me just take the baby strat of just crouching on the block. So basically, you crouch on the block, and it will put you into the background of the level. You can kind of climb on that.
We're coming up on a cool death warp here. So the way spikes work in this game, if you're holding the direction away from them, don't actually die. So what you saw there is I was basically inside those spikes, but since I was holding right and the wind was pushing me left, I didn't actually end up dying from them. So then I could collect the berry on that ground. This berry is really annoying. There's really no easy way to get this one.
The coin berry.
Yeah.
There's tons. I've seen tons of different methods and all of them are just annoying.
I don't honestly remember how I got that one casually. I know I used the block, but I don't remember how. see in a lot of places, I'll be taking safe dashes down so that I collect berries. I cannot get my dash back.
It's much better to take maybe the half second to get on the ground and collect a berry than lose it, die, and then have to play through a minute-long section again.
What I was trying to do there was extended hyper into a corner boost, which is where I think you explained it earlier. But if you pass over the top of the wall within, I think it's 3 or 4 frames, you can maintain your speed. And if you dash into it, you get a lot more. Now we're in cliff face and the winds are really strong here. We had 92 berries leaving this chapter. The fall has gone well. There we go. Alright, so now I'm headed into probably my favorite split of this chapter. This one, it's almost a maze. There's so many different paths, and we skip pretty much all of it for any percent, but getting to play this and really explore the whole level is really fun and hard.
And if you get into, the higher ranks of any percent, you skip most of the chapter anyway. You grab the cassette, you go south at one point, grab the cassette, skip straight to 6B, or not 6B, 5B.
So a lot of places in Arb, you'll see us doing death warps, because there's safe ground next to the berry, and then you don't actually have to leave the room again, you can just warp back to the exit.
Yeah, you're gonna see that a lot. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them in Temple alone.
That was an ultra right there. That's a really cool ultra. You can actually make it back into the... what am I saying? Make it back through that little gap in the spikes there. I messed up the entry. Gotta get that berry. If you're not careful, a run of this category can turn into MRB, most red berries. So here I'm going to do one of those demo dash. Nope, wrong room. Completely forgot where I was. That's a little tricky. Can't see it. There's some annoying sections in rooms where you can just throw yourself at it again and again and die over and over. I didn't know that could happen. Alright, here's a demo dash, so I'm just going to go right through that spike. And that is pixel perfect, but there's a very consistent setup for it. I think it's if you do a max height hyper. And so you play the game, and after a while you'll learn what that is just from muscle memory.
This is supposed to be a race. Where are we at right now?
I'm just entering the secret cutscene.
At what time?
About 36 minutes.
Okay. So I think I'm maintaining a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, this is a pretty sloppy start for me for Temple.
I ended up dying with one berry in Temple, but it was probably like the best one to die with.
Oh yeah, were you able to just go right back to it?
Yeah. I died with the crumble block berry in the center.
Yeah, Temple isn't too restrictive. You can often go back to berries if you miss them.
Yeah. Whole idea of Temple is, it's one big puzzle, so you get to really explore and search around the whole thing is about it.
Alright, so now I'm in a section of the game where there are these seeker monsters that follow you. And they're pretty good at hitting you. There's some rooms where they're more annoying than others. But it's very important in this section to make sure that you avoid them.
And we're gonna have to use them as well to try and get some berries, which can be annoying to manipulate them, but
Nothing about them is RNG though, even if it feels like it.
yeah, that's one of the few things in this game that kind of makes it stand out, is there's zero RNG to it. Like when it comes to a speedrun aspect, there's probably some things that get affected.
Yeah, there's stuff that's procedurally generated, like visuals, and that I'm sure has randomness in it, as well as like her idle animations, but none of those things impact the speedrun.
Everything about Celeste, everything that happens around you with enemies, or where Oshiro goes, and so when you're in his chase section, where battling goes in Old Site, everything can be affected by you, which kind of makes the game stand out. There's a lot of other games that are big speedruns because you never know when you're going to get a good run. You can do the same thing every time, like have a bunch of runs, just kind of tied to things out of your control.
The Seeker is really annoying.
Seekers are annoying. They're probably the one thing that feels the most like RNG, but
Agreed.
they really are.
But yeah, they can be controlled, but it's pretty precise. I'm going here. This is a section of the game where it's pretty easy to get lost in. It's probably one of the ones that's trickiest to route, or remember the route for at least.
There's tons of winding paths, and you have to be careful because you need to get a key. There's 3 keys in the area, but we're able to skip the need for 2 of them.
Yep, with the trick I just did right there.
Double key skip, it's just a thing the devs left in. There's no like special frame perfect anything to it. You just do a little reverse extended hyper. You can clear the gap.
Do you do the hyper one with the corner boost or the jump dash?
I guess the jump dash.
Dash jump. There's a lot of names for some things.
Yeah.
So jump dash, dash jump, dash cancel, super dash. Those all mean the same thing. But people call them different things because, you find them on your own, you come up with a name for it.
Yeah. I feel like the general term for them is dash cancels. But in that long section, you're supposed to get 2 keys and unlock a little pathway to use one of these red bubbles that we've been using instead of doing that skip. But we need to save one of the keys we get for a red berry that you saw before. And in order to maintain that key, you have to kind of route around the area. Because if you bring the key to the lock, like if it gets anywhere close to it, it'll magnet to the lock and open it, which can lose you a lot of time. So you have to kind of route.
Then you have to go get another key, and
locks.
the other 2 keys take quite a bit of time. Alright, so now I'm getting probably my least favorite berry in the game. I don't even remember how long this took me casually. But it sometimes takes me a while now, even now. So you have to get some sort of height from the Seeker, and then be able to get up there and throw Theo at that switch.
A luckily luckily that's the only berry we get in the Fio section.
Yeah.
It would, be really annoying if there's a bunch of berries in here. So they kind of spared us on that.
Yeah, so this section of the game, we're carrying the sort of second protagonist, the secondary character, but we're carrying him. He's trapped in a crystal. We gotta get him to the end of each room.
And then we throw him at a giant eyeball, and we win.
Yep. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's what we do.
Because we're like half in a dream, half. This game's story is really good, but also kind of confusing if it's just told to you. You have to really play the game to understand the story.
There we go.
Right, so now the most bland part, at least for me, for Jackson, really. And
Are you exiting tempo as well?
yeah, really painful. But I'm gonna be doing 6A, which is the same as normal 90% since I already got 4 hearts. But Jax only has 3 hearts right now, and you need 4 to enter core.
What's your IGT at entering reflection?
I was like 42, 45.
Okay, so I'm like 15 seconds ahead of you. That's it. Alright, so what I just did there is a very precise wall bounce, sort of past some spikes, and it doesn't save a whole lot of time. If you miss that, I think even once, you're pretty much breaking even with not doing it.
Yeah, it's a 3 pixel horizontal difference where you can reach the little tiny corner to not hit the spikes but still hit the but it can save, I think, 5 seconds over just going around and hitting the block.
Alright, so now I am attempting to go to the tape room here by directing this Kevin block.
So this is going to be the big route change between the two of us. I'm going to be continuing 6A as normal. I already got 4 hearts, but Jax is going to be he's going to be getting the tape and doing 6B and getting that heart. Saves around 5 seconds for people in any percent, but in A or B, since we get the heart from it, it can save, I think, 20. Depending on how good your 6A is compared to your 6B. So you get a little bit more lenience doing 6B and A or B.
Not a whole lot, much more.
Yeah, it's not too much. It's still very tight. There's not a lot of wiggle room. But
however, my 6A is by no means perfect, so I get more lenience than top runners do. Oftentimes with B-sides, the emphasis is not dying. There are a lot of fast traps you can do, but oftentimes you'll save the most time by just not dying, which can be very hard to do.
Not dying is the hardest strat. So I'm coming up on one of my favorite parts of Reflection. We call this battle and boost. Basically, we stand on this block, and if we do a bunny hop and then carry our I did not get it all the way. But you can carry your momentum all the way up to battle up here, and it just, I mean, it doesn't save as much time as you would hope, but it just looks really cool.
It's a pretty significant time save. I think it's actually I have no clue what it is. I know it's a good bit though.
It's definitely one of the cooler looking parts of the run, in my opinion.
In my opinion, is one of the hardest rooms in the chapter. The last descent room.
Yeah,
there's a lot of precise gaps there. Pretty decent things here. I'm gonna jinx myself.
Especially my 6-8s. It's going okay right now, but it's not as good as I would want it to be. So you probably have a chance to save time.
No,
probably
I'm not into the last checkpoint yet, which is perhaps the most prone to getting a lot of time lost. There's some really long runs there that are pretty tricky.
So I'm going to stage 2 of the battle fight, basically, who gets more mad. It's only a couple screens long, but they can be pretty long screens and pretty difficult.
I'm in stage 2 of the battle line fight as well. It looks a little bit different, but same sort of concept.
And yours is even harder.
That's a cool little ultra through a bumper. And I get to do it again because I died.
You get to show it off twice. That's why you did it, it was purposeful.
So we can skip most of those coins there. Doing a precise jump.
So after the battle and fight, you don't get to see this Jax, just because he's doing the B-side, but we joined forces with Battle to overcome our fears and climb the mountain. And now we have 2 dashes, which makes the next chapter gonna be, like, it's, I don't know, the next chapter is gonna be really interesting. So there's only 2 chapters left. We have the summit, which we're going to be collecting a lot of berries in. And then we have to go to Core after we give the 4 hearts to the mountain. And there's only 5 berries in there, but they're really evenly spread out. So it can make it hard to navigate through it all.
Alrighty, I'm in the summit.
I entered Summit at 49 flats.
Okay, yeah, I'm about 45 behind you.
Okay, so basically the the gist of Summit is after we fell back down the mountain in Reflection, we're now climbing back up, going through every checkpoint in every chapter that we did beforehand, but now we have 2 dashes. So the challenges are a lot bigger, typically screens are a lot longer. It's because we can get through them much faster. There's a lot more opportunity for movement attack now that we have 2 dashes. So we could do a bunny hop and not get our dash back, but still have 1 left. It opens up more opportunities for movement tech.
What I'm trying to do here is a wall bounce to go get that wing strawberry.
It's just there.
I may just go through the room normally because I'm having one of those troubles. Some of the most costly berries to miss is forgetting to get the ones at the end of these sections, because there's a few that are in these last rooms.
I think there's one in every end room, except for the base and 1500 meter.
I guess 3K doesn't end with that.
So 3K just ends. Buried 1,000.
How far in?
Maybe like halfway in. That shouldn't be too bad. It'll probably be like 30 seconds.
Yikes, that was not how I wanted to do that run. That worked.
So into 1500, we get a lot more of these platforms that you can fall on, walk on them. We get a lot of alternate routes. A lot of these berries are not like in the screen that you normally play through on 90%. They're usually like hidden, secret screen transitions or something. So they get really interesting.
is really annoying. Nope, there are berries down here. I almost forgot about those.
Hey, don't want to forget 2 berries.
You know the ones I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Collect that. That is why we collect berries.
Yeah, I should have done that. I lost 150. I lost the Franker face.
Uh-oh. Oh, that one's really far in, too. Okay,
So
I'm going back to that.
Jax will be advancing to core. I'll be going back and getting these berries.
Collect. Eat.
Eat the berry.
It really makes sense for her to be eating, but another Celeste runner who mostly does Harb at this point, Heaven's Fight, likes to say eat.
I feel like eat is just the
Works. Uh-oh. That's probably too early. Yep.
Did you go for on the auto scroller skip?
No, the Wingberry in 1500, I dashed, but too early. I keep doing that. That's not gonna work. There we go. That's an annoying one.
So this is a fun room in 2000 meter. I'm gonna try this for a little bit. You can little tiny coin clumps. There we go. Basically, you can skip having to grab that moving block by just kind of jumping on the corners as you're moving away from it. And you have to just pretty much just spam jump as you're doing it. But it saves a little bit of time, not too much. But it does look cooler than just grabbing the block.
Oh boy. Almost missed the wall jump. Well, actually, I did miss it, but I was able to save it. In the room that we skipped. Fine, play the room. You and Jake, that's
I'll do it your way.
here, I'm going to be attempting a demo dash. Nope, I did not buffer the dashes correctly. There we go. Second try, not bad.
So right there you saw me do some weird jumps to reach the key without having to take the bottom. We just call that key skip. Basically you're able to sort of jump on like corners that have spikes if you jump before your hitbox reaches it. If you just kind of spam, if you get 2 jump ups, just kind of spam them.
You spam them?
Or no, I don't spam them, but there's plenty others where I do.
In general, I try to avoid spamming in this game as much as possible. There's, I think, one room that I think that I can think of where I do it.
The only one that I spam is that one double one in 2000 meter. Here's the best skip in the game. Door skip saves 9 years. If you don't get it, you have to instantly reset. So it's a good thing I got it first try.
Door skip is something of a meme within the community.
In reality, it saves like 1 second.
Yeah, I think it's on the order of 1 second. So going into 3000 meter, it might seem like I'm ahead, but since I lost 2 berries in kind of bad spots in 1000 meter and 1500, Jax is probably ahead right now, just because he has those berries and I don't. 3000 is kind of the ultimate challenge before you finally climb the mountain. The winds don't go sideways anymore, they decide to go vertical. So first off we start with downdraft, it just pushes you down, it's annoying. But again, dashing kind of breaks through the wind, so we want to be dashing as much as possible. Ooh, that's a costly death. I died getting to the top of the 2500.
One death can, I mean, sometimes the death really doesn't matter, but other times the death can cost you, like, even an any percent can cost you 30 minutes. Yeah, miss door skip, around like 20 to 30 seconds, depending on the right screen.
I'm just gonna wait here until I get a dash back.
Through the hardest flag 13. It's bad. I hate flag 13.
So here, for some reason in downdraft, you can just jump off spikes if you time it correctly. So that's what you saw me do there. Be a little bit odd.
I think the game only checks for hit detection every frame when it comes to hitboxes.
Sorry,
So if you buffer your jump to the right time, then you can just sort of jump on spikes. We can also use that in other chapters, mainly when wind is pushing us into spikes. The task does it in Golden Ridge on I think a couple spots, but it only saves like 5 frames overall.
Alrighty, I'm looking to have every berry by the end of summit here.
It's better than me. He's got the last one, so I'm missing 2 berries.
Oh shit. This is a long flag to die on.
So even though I did finish Summit, I have to go back in and get a couple more berries that I ended up dying with. So it's the 3rd one in 1000 meters, and then I have to exit, go get one in 1500. So Jax is probably going to take the lead.
Sweet. Really poor summit for me.
Best part is I don't know which berry is the 3rd one. I think it's this one up here. Okay. So that gave me an extra 40 seconds. And then I still have to go back into 1500 meter and get the 2nd to last berry. This is gonna add a lot of time.
That one's probably the big one.
Luckily I don't have to play all of 1500. I have to like 90% just to get this one. There's only like 2 screens I don't have to do.
Alrighty, I'm out of summit. At 108.29.
Nice.
6 minutes out of BB.
I'm at 107.36 after getting the...
After getting the last one?
Yeah, I just got it. It only... I thought it would lose more time, but it only lost me 40 seconds.
Yeah, going through any percent 1500 isn't too bad.
Last chapter though, Jax is going to be doing a skip. I think we neglected talking about it earlier.
Yeah. So this has the potential to save me a lot of time if it goes well. Which is by no means a guarantee. It's a pretty tricky trick.
There's, it's a reverse, what is it? A reverse off
Reverse
of the
ultra
block.
off of a lava block.
Yeah. Into a corner boost after a screen transition.
So these lava blocks here, they launch you in pretty much every direction.
Yeah. I guess they can't go down.
They're pretty
though.
analog. They're very, very precise.
Yeah. These are the only other thing I would say feel like RNG besides Seekers.
Alrighty, now I gotta time this. And I died. Okay, that's about the worst death you can have with that trick.
Were you at the berry pretty much?
Yep. That was almost very good. Nope. Oh boy.
So I'm taking the intended route of going around, activating the ice switch, and then just going and getting that berry normally. Just because I'm not very good at ice skip. But it can save a lot of time compared to this route.
Doesn't look like I'm going to be saving any time with it, though. I'm having struggles now.
It is by no means easy at all.
There we go. I'm out.
I just got to the berry.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to be behind because your IGT was already ahead of mine. What the? There's another tricky berry here. It involves a bunch of bumpers, and
That's I'm getting there right now. This is probably the worst berry of core, if not the rest of the game.
oh my gosh, let me out of this room.
Got out with only a couple deaths. But that one berry room can be brutal. You can be there for time.
Alrighty, I'm out. What? Oh boy. I screwed up the strat for this room. The wing it.
So just like Resort, core is heavily cycle based. If you don't make it to a certain spot at the right time, you're just probably dead. Especially once you get to the parts where lava starts rising from the floor, and you cannot take your time with a certain strat.
What is this cycle?
right there. I just got the last berry, but we still have to complete 8A. Still have to get the heart, and I guess you have to get the cassette as well. But the run, even though the goal was completed, the run is not over yet, but it's pretty much there. There's only a couple more rooms to go.
This has been a really poor core for me. Not even to the horizontal part yet. Block coming back. Well, at least I collected the berry. That would have been GG.
Get the feather. No. I bumped into a little tiny wall and just barely didn't reach the next feather. So here's actually the first rhythm room that you've seen on my end, I guess. And this is probably my least favorite rhythm room in the game.
Trying to do here is get a hyper off this block.
So now all I have left is a couple cool looking ultras. Just get the heart. I think I actually just missed PB by about 20 seconds.
I just cannot play core today at all.
Get the good looking pie. All 175 berries. GG.
GG.
I wish core had gone better for you. You had ice skip like
awful.
first try.
Even without it, even with that first try I skipped, this would have been awful. Yeah, I'm losing 3 minutes to my PB core split. This will still,
What's your?
however, be a PB.
Could you still PB though? Yeah.
Oh yeah, by like 3 minutes. So, and that is all red berries.
All right. GG's, man. Thanks for the raise.
Yeah.